Hello, hockey fans. Austin here, and in today's video, I am going to be we're going to be discussing the hiring of Stan Bowman in Edmonton. It is all but confirmed now. Elliot Friedman put out a tweet this morning. Last night, Jeff Jackson on Twitter or X.com, he made his account private after earlier in the day, Bob Stauffer had mentioned Stan Bowman on his radio show on 630 Ched. And after Jeff Jackson made his Twitter account private last night, if you followed me on Twitter, you'll know that the reaction right away was, oh boy, if Jeff Jackson is making his account private, there's a decision coming that they know is going to have fan backlash. So why would they make the decision anyways? Who knows? So Stan Bowman, like I said, it's all but confirmed now that he is the next general manager of the Edmonton Oilers. And this is an incredibly just terrible hire in my opinion. Not only on the personal aspect, the history of Bowman in Chicago, not protecting Kyle Beach, and then eventually allowing Brad Aldrich to go and abuse others. Stan Bowman is also just not a good general manager. He ranks right up there with Peter Chiarelli and Ken Holland in terms of their worst aspects of GMs. All in one, Stan Bowman did not make very good signings as GM in Chicago. He inherited an absolutely stacked team. And after 2015, he was awful at being GM of Chicago. A lot of the decisions that he made, a lot of the players that traded, draft picks, terrible. The only trade that I think Stan Bowman actually won was against Ken Holland when they traded Duncan Keith unretained for Caleb Jones. So good for Stan Bowman. He had one trade that was a win. In terms of, if you want to look for salary cap relief against the Edmonton Oilers, against Ken Holland himself. So the Oilers just can't seem to go more than a couple months of, goodwill with the fans. It seems like every time it looks like they're stepping up and making the right decisions, they take a massive step back, whether that's a GM hire, a coach hire, whatever the situation is. Now, obviously, Chris Knobloch has worked out, and a lot of the, signings that Ken Holland made at Edmonton were positive. The drafting was really bad, and trades were spotty at best. Obviously, the Ekholm trade is a diamond in the rough, though. But when we look at Stan Bowman, the impact that this will have, not only on the organization, but on the fan base, I can't help but feel for a lot of individuals who watch hockey, who love the Oilers, that are going to feel like their voices are not being heard. They're going to feel like it's just the old guard, the old boys club, allowing these individuals to continue to have jobs, just recycling the same people. You know how many people are probably qualified for a general manager position in the NHL that don't get the opportunity because of people like Stan Bowman and the media that allows this type of narrative to happen. The amount of people in the media, by the way, that were pumping up Stan Bowman and being like, he's changed, all signs point to Edmonton, and never really acknowledging what happened in the past. And these same media members, back when Kyle Beach came out with his story, all these media members were like, we have to do better. That includes me as a media member. We have to do better for this sport. Well, and then as soon as it became obvious that Stan Bowman was going to be able to come back to the NHL, all of these media members, whether they're Edmonton media members, national media members, for the most part, and I'm not going to name names, but you all know the ones I'm talking about, they've all been very, Stan Bowman, it happens. He's done his best to be a better person. So why it is a privilege. It's a privilege to have a job in the National Hockey League. An absolute privilege. It is not a right. Just because Stan Bowman has gone out and worked on himself to be better and maybe be more prepared for future scenarios where he has to be involved directly and correct issues in the workplace to prevent others from being abused, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that you just should be guaranteed a job at the National Hockey League level. You know how many other jobs he could work, right? Go work somewhere else. Why does it have to be NHL? Why does the NHL and why does the media allow this to happen? Why are we allowing this? Why, we need to demand better. Not only for the Oilers, they need to demand better from Daryl Cates, Jeff Jackson, anyone that was involved in the hiring process. Fans also need to demand better from the media to hold people like Stan Bowman a lot more accountable. There is probably going to be a press conference sometime later today. By the time you watch this video, the press conference might be over. The announcement might have already happened. But I can't help but feel for those who have been victims in workplaces, who have been victims in their lives, who, watch hockey as an escape. They watch hockey as an escape from the world. They love this team. They love the players. And I can see this being a final straw for a lot of individuals. I can see a hiring like this for a lot of fans being like, you know what, maybe watching hockey, maybe supporting the Edmonton Oilers is not worth it. And I've gone through my own personal opinions about how I would approach the Oilers as a fan moving forward if they hired Stan Bowman. Now, I put out a pretty rage-filled tweet about what I would actually do a few weeks ago when it was announced that he could be linked to the Edmonton Oilers. I've had since cooled down from that stance. I will be probably addressing and making more of an official announcement how I will be approaching this channel moving forward, because I feel like I have a duty as a fan and as a representative of this fan base and a lot of Oilers fans that tune in to speak up and use my voice to show that this is unacceptable and that I do not support this in any way. But I do have some plans that will, we're going to turn a negative into a positive here. Obviously, this channel will still be Oilers focused. A lot of the videos I make will still be Oilers related, especially when it comes to pregame reports, postgame recaps, that sort of thing. But I will be announcing something probably in the near future about how I will approach the ad revenue that my channel makes and how we can support victims of abuse, victims of sexual assault, victims of just, of that nature. Whether it's through donations, whether it's through initiatives, I'm going to try and organize something, and maybe it's a monthly donation. Maybe some money that I make every month from the channel will go towards organizations that help victims, because I don't like this hire at all. And now, I've never been sexually abused. However, I have been abused physically in a workplace before, and I've had management above my head do nothing about it. So I relate to this on a personal level, obviously not to the level that some other people have experienced, especially Kyle Beach. I don't want to even compare what I've gone through to what he's gone through and the other victims of Brad Aldrich. But the fact that Stan Bowman allowed a lot of that to happen under his watch, it's pretty tough today in oil country. And for those of you watching, if you're not a fan of the Oilers and you want to come dunk on the Oilers in the comment section, I don't blame you. I don't blame anyone. If you're not a fan of the Oilers and if you're coming in being like, haha, Oilers suck, what a terrible hire, they're stupid pieces of crap, I don't blame you for putting that in there. For Oilers fans who are tuning in, I do want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you think we can do as fans to not only demand better from the organization, but what we can do to use our voices, especially for me as a content creator here, how I can use my voice to try and turn this negative into a positive, try and do some good in the community and help people that might feel like they are being neglected by this organization now. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, I'll probably have another video out addressing how I'll move forward on this channel once I kind of have a better idea of how I want to move forward with certain aspects of the channel. So for those of you who tuned in, I do truly appreciate it. Normally I ask for likes and subscriptions, but in this situation, I'm not going to do that. However, I will say, please, please, please tell someone that you love them. That is super, super important. Give someone a hug today. And if you know anyone that's been affected by any form of abuse, make sure that that, they have your support. And I also support you as well. This is a terrible day in oil country. Not a fan at all. So that's all I got. See you next time.